Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of finite element analysis. In the last class I started problems on plane stress and plane strain conditions. So we are going to continue the problem because of some technical glitch we were not able to upload the complete video. So in this class I will complete the problem which was left in the last video. So in the last class we have started problems on plane stress and plane strain, and this problem was for plane stress, I guess. Okay, yeah, it was for plane stress. So the only difference between plane stress and plane strain problem is this D matrix formula. In any case, everything will be the same, only the D formula will be changing. So depending on plane stress, you have to use a different formula of D as I explained in the last class, and you have to use different formula for plane strain. So it depends on this thing which will be given in the question. So if plane stress is given, you have a different formula of D, and if plane strain is given, you have a different formula of D. The B formula will remain same. The matrix B will remain same. Delta is the thickness which will be given in the question. Area we will have to calculate by using this triangle formula for which coordinates will be given in the question. So in the last class we first obtained delta was given in the question, which is called thickness. So delta is 5 mm. Area we calculated in the last class. B we calculated in the last class by using the formula, and B transpose we know how to do the transpose of a matrix. D we have calculated based on this condition. So for plane strain we have a formula for D, and also we got the value of B. Okay. So after multiplying these three matrices and delta A, we got this matrix, which is a 6 by 6 matrix, which has 6 rows and 6 columns. So this is where we left in the last class. We was asked to find out the finite element equation. Just we need to find out the finite element equation. Formulate the finite element equation. So our finite element equation is k into u is equals to f, which we have been studying since the starting of this subject. So we got k, okay. U are displacement matrices, U which is U1, U2, U3, U4, U5, U6. That we will be directly substituting. So we have to find out k and we have to find out f. After substituting k and f, we will get the values of u. But in this problem, he is not asking us to find out the values of u. He is just asking us to substitute here and leave it as it is, just to formulate the finite element equation. Okay. So here we are not going to find out the values of u, and we are going to just substitute and leave it there itself. We can also find out the values of u. So here first, in order to find out f, what are the different types of forces given in this question? There is only one type of force which is given in the question, that is pressure force. So the pressure force is acting on this side of the element and this side of the element. Okay, so there is pressure force acting on two sides of the element. So one pressure force which is given as P1, 5 Newton per mm square, and second pressure force is acting on this side of the element, which is 2 Newton per mm square. So we know that the formula of pressure force is, we know that, which I gave in the last class. So pressure force formula is P is equals to delta L by 2 Px1, Py1, Px2, Py2, Px3, Py3. So this is the formula of pressure force. Okay. So by using this formula, we will be able to calculate the pressure force F. Sorry, this is pressure force Fp we will write down. Now you can see the pressure force has got two components, one is x component and y component. And we know that for a triangular element, at every node we have how many displacements? We have got two displacements. One is displacement in x direction and one is displacement in y direction. So for first node u1 and u2, for second node u3, u4, and for third node u5, u6. So there are three nodes here. This is node 1, node 2, node 3. So depending on these forces, the element can move either in the right side direction or in the upward direction. So that's the reason we are going to take two displacements for triangular elements. So if we see this pressure force, So it is in horizontal direction. So we don't have to resolve it. If we see this pressure force is neither in horizontal direction nor in y direction. So this is an inclined force. So whenever we have inclined forces, we have to resolve that inclined forces into two components. One is in x direction and the second one will be in the y direction. So if we have this pressure force in this direction, so if we resolve this pressure force 2 Newton per mm square, what will be the two directions? One will be in the leftward direction and one will be in the upward direction. Okay. So this pressure force is going to have two directions because this is a force in which quadrant? A force in second quadrant. A force in second quadrant will have leftward and upward directions. So in order to find out these values, we have to find out the angle. We need either angle with x direction or angle with y direction. In order to resolve this force into two components, we need the angle of this force. So for finding out that angle, what I am going to do, I am going to form one right angle triangle here. So what will be this coordinate? Okay, so this coordinate will be, what is the x distance here? The x distance will be from here. So this is my x value and the y value will be from here. So y is 1. Because I am traveling, the x is traveling up to 3 and y height is same for this. So y value will be same. Y value will be same. So x is changing, only x is changing. There is no change in the y. So only if x is changing. So x is changing from 1 to this point. So at this point, what is the value of x? 3. So we have got a right angle triangle with 3 coordinates. So can we find out the angle of a right angle triangle if we have 3 coordinates? Yes, we can find out the angle of a right angle triangle if we have 3 coordinates. So I can find out the sides. Can I find out this side and this side of this right angle triangle? Yes. So see this right angle triangle carefully. So we have this right angle triangle like this. So this point is 3, 5. This point is 3, 1. And this point is 1, 1. I can find out this side. The formula of length of line under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So the length of this line will be under root of x2 minus x1 whole square. So 3 minus 1 whole square plus 5 minus 1 whole square. So this is 2 square plus 4 square. So 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16, 16 plus 4, this is coming out to be root 20. So the length of this side is root 20. Okay. You can verify it by using calculator as well. So yeah, that's root 20. Next, we need any of these two sides. We can find out either this side or this side, because if we have any two sides of a right angle triangle, we can find out the angle. So I am finding out this side, okay, so that so I am finding out this side, under root of 3 minus 3 square plus 5 minus 1 square. So this is coming out to be 3 minus 3 square is 0. This is under root of 4 square. So under root of 4 square is 4. So we have two sides of a right angle triangle. Can I find out this side? I can find out any angle now. So I am finding out this angle. So when I am finding out this angle, this side is called as adjacent side and this is hypotenuse side. So when we have adjacent and hypotenuse, so which formula can we use? We can use cos theta, because in cos theta formula we have adjacent by hypotenuse. So which implies cos theta is equals to, the adjacent side is 4 and hypotenuse is root 20. So theta is equals to cos inverse of 4 by root 20. And we can find out this value in the calculator. Cos inverse of 4 by root 20, and this is 26.56. So theta is equals to 26.56. So this line is making an angle of, this angle we got as 26.56. So this line is making an angle of 26.56. So the line perpendicular to this will make an angle of 26.56 with the horizontal line, because those are called as alternate angles. If any line is making an angle of something with vertical, the perpendicular line will make the same angle with horizontal. So this line is making 26.56 with the vertical line. So the line perpendicular to this will make an angle of 26.56 with the horizontal line. So I got the angle of this. Now I can resolve this into two components. So one is 26 point, because this side we have angle, so 26.2 cos 26.56 is the x component, and y will be 2 sine 26.56. So I have resolved this pressure force into two components now. So the x component is 2 cos 26.56 and the y component is 2 sine 26.56. Okay, so now I am going to find out the pressure force. So the pressure force acting on this side, okay, so the pressure force acting on that side will be how much? First, pressure force acting on, so let's say this side is Jk, so Jk is equals to delta L by 2. So that side is Jk, so we have to take the length of Jk. Okay, so L means length, so length of Jk. So what is the length of this line? So the length of Jk is equals to under root of 6 minus 3 whole square, the length of this line, under root of 6 minus 3 whole square plus 4 minus 5 whole square. So this is under root of 9 plus 1, this is root 10. So length of Jk is root 10. Delta is thickness which has been given in the question, that is 5 mm. So is equals to 5 into length of Jk, we got it as root 10. So root 10, so the complete formula. So px1, py1, px2, py2, px3, py3. So now I will be substituting. So delta is given in the question as 5. Length of Jk is root 10 by 2. Px1, py1. So this is px1, py1. Px2, py2. Px3, py3. If we see this, so let's take, this is px1, py1. Px2, py2. Px3, py3. So this is only affecting px2 and px3. How this is affecting, how this force is affecting, let's see. So this force is in horizontal direction on this element. And what are the horizontal displacements for this element? u5 and u3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is only affecting 3 and 5. This force, the pressure force, is only affecting 3 and 5 because it is in the same direction of u3 and u5. So it is only affecting 3 and 5. So at 3 and 5, we have to substitute this value 5 here. So remaining will be zeros. Okay. So everything is 0 except the 3. Number 3 is 5. The pressure force 5, which has been given in the question, is not affecting 4. It is affecting 5. So again 5 here. By this is also 0. Okay, so we got this value 5 into root 10 by 2. We can find out this value in the calculator. So 5 into, okay, we can take this 5 also common, so this will come outside. So 5 into root 10 into 5 by 2. So what will be remaining inside? 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So 5 5 is 25, 25 into root 10 by root 10 by 2. So this value is coming out to be 39.52. So this value you are getting 39.52 in the calculator. So this is the pressure force for this. We have also got one more pressure force and we are going to solve that as well. So for which I will erase this part. So this is the same formula of pressure force we have to use. So the pressure force which is acting on IK. So the pressure force which is acting on IK. Okay, the formula will be same. So delta into length. Now we have to take the length of IK by 2 and remaining everything is same, px1, py1, px2, py2, px3, py3. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have to find out the length of IK. So length of IK I already got, which is root 20. So delta is thickness which has been given in the question, 5 into root 20 by 2. Now let's see how this force is affecting. So this force is in two directions. One is in the leftward direction, one is in the upward direction. So it is going to affect U1, U5 and also U2 and U6. Because this force is in horizontal direction, so it is going to affect the horizontal displacements. And this force is also in the upward direction. Because I have resolved this force, this was an inclined force and I have resolved this force, so it is going to affect both horizontal and vertical directions. So it is going to affect 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay, so it's going to affect 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. So 3, 4 will be 0. We know that 3, 4 will be 0 now. Now what is 1? If you see 1 is in the rightward direction and this 2 cos 26.56 is in the leftward direction. So we have to put minus there. So for 1 we have to put minus 2 cos 26.56. For 2, py1. For 2 if we see, 2 is in the upward direction and this 2 sine 26.56 is also in the upward direction. So 2 sine 26.56 is in the upward direction. Next 5 and 6. 5 is in the rightward direction and 2 cos 26.56 is in the leftward direction. So minus 2 cos 26.56. Okay. And 6. U6 is in the upward direction and 2 sine 26.56 is also in the upward direction. So 2 sine 26.56. So now we got the pressure force values. So I have to add this and this so that I will get the force, total force. So I got the pressure force for first one, for this one, and for the pressure force, for this pressure force I got this matrix. So we have to assemble these two matrices now. So which is called as global force matrix, global or total force matrix. So global force matrix. So it's going to be 6 by 6 because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 displacements. So the global force matrix is going to be a 6. It's going to have 6 rows, okay, and 1 column because force matrix is always a column matrix. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little bit broader. So at 1, for element 1 at 1 we have 0. For element 1 I will write down first. So 39.52 into 0. So that is 39.52 into 0 is 0. 39.52 into 0 again it is 0. 39.52 into 1 we have 39.52. Okay, for element 1 we have 0, 0. 39.52 into 1, 39.52. 39.52 into 0, 0. 39.52 into 1, 39.52. 39.52 into 0, 0. Plus values of element 2 for second force. Okay, so for second force we have this value 5 into root 20 by 2 multiplied by this. Okay, so that we can do here. So I'm going to write down. First, I'm going to simplify this so that the calculations will become easier. Okay, so 5 into root 20 by 2 into 2 cos 36.56. It's minus 20 here. The first value is minus 20. The second value, multiplying this with these values, the second value 5 into root 20 2 sine 26.56 divided by 2, and this is 10. This is coming out to be 10, and this is 0, 0, again this will become minus 20, and this is 10. So we have to put these values here, so minus 20, 10, 0, 0, minus 20, 10. So now we have got global force matrix. This is minus 20, 10, 39.52, 0, 39.52 minus 20, 19.52, 0 plus 10, 0. So this is global force matrix. So after getting the global force matrix, just substitute the K matrix. U is U1, U2, U3, U4, U5, U6 is equals to F. That's it. You have to leave it the problem till there, because in the question he has asked us to find out the formulate the finite element equation. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me. I will be solving a couple of more problems on this topic in the coming videos as well. Thank you.